Hey there. I want to share what I think is a pretty novel way to transfer the motion of a blend shape from one mesh to another. It's often the case that you end up buying like clothes off of Gumroad or like you find some and they don't have any blend shapes. Like let's say we have this t-shirt here, for example, and let's pretend it doesn't have any blend shapes. Like we've got it from Gumroad and we're like, all right, I'm going to apply it to my character because I think it looks cool. This white t-shirt I've got. Uh, and we find, well, let's say it doesn't have the blend shape we want. Like, let's say, let's just remove all the blend shapes just so, there we go. No blend shapes. Well, if our avatar has blend shapes applied, like let's say we wanted to have this guy breathe, for example, well, we can't exactly do that because the t-shirt is going to clip through the t-shirt. So usually what you do is you go on the t-shirt and you like add a basis and you add a key and then you'd edit the key and you'd like move it around with like proportional editing and try and make it not look bad. But that's tedious. And I don't want to do that because I'm lazy. So we're not going to need any of these. And what we're going to do actually is I'll hide this for now. And we're going to make two copies of the body. So we're going to take this guy. We're going to call this default. So we're going to make a mesh in the default state. And then we're going to duplicate it again. And we're going to call this blended. In the default state, you want to make sure you have no blend shapes applied, nothing applied at all, no transformations at all. And on the blended state, you want to apply the blend shape or blend shapes that you want to transfer the motion of to your other object. So let's say we want to transfer breathing belly, this shape right here. So we'll make this one, and then we can hide these for now. Then we can go back to the t-shirt, and we're going to add a few modifiers to this. So one, we're going to add a geometry node. And this will be a node that you can append, provide as a blend file. We'll add this transfer blend shape before shrink wrap. And what this will do is this will store the positions of all the vertices before a shrink wrap modifier is applied. And I'll explain why a shrink wrap modifier is needed in a little bit. So for now, we're going to add a shrink wrap, and we're going to set it to target normal project. And what this will do is this will project the vertices of this onto the default mesh. So we're going to choose the default state of the mesh for the shrink wrap here. You'll see that it's applied like that. Don't worry. Then we'll add one more modifier, another geometry node, and this one will be the actual transfer blend shape one. We'll give it the default state, and we'll give it the blended state. Now, what we can do is, I'll actually go on the current body to demonstrate this. I'll actually copy the breathing belly blend shape as a driver, and I'll drive the lerp on here by that so we can see what it's doing. So now if we go back here, we go back to the breathing belly blend shape. Where is it? There it is. You'll notice that it kind of looks weird. This is because, and this is unfortunately one of the little bits of tedium about this method of doing it, is that you actually need to go on here and you need to triangulate the default and blended states of the mesh you're transferring from. So we just add a triangulate modifier, and this is important. We want to set it to fixed. This is so that the shape of the mesh does not actually determine the triangulation method, so it'll be a deterministic triangulation across the whole mesh. We're also going to apply this to the blended state as well. Set it to fixed, and there we go. So now, when we go on current, and we activate this blend shape, now it behaves correctly. You can actually see that it is deforming with the blend shape perfectly. And even though this is a little bit like tedious to set up, you can get pretty fast at it, and I think it'll still be quite useful for transferring blend shapes from one mesh to another. Um, the reason why, I'll explain the reason why this weird like modifier stack is required. So what this does is this stores the original positions. Then what this will do is this will shrink wrap the shirt onto the body. And then the final one, what this will do is this will actually get, this will actually get the vertex positions as they're projected onto each triangle of the mesh. And it kind of stores where they are relative to each triangle. Then it can reapply the difference between the original and the shrink wrapped to the like blended model, and that's how it does the really nice blend shape transfer. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of the gist of it. The only real caveats are that you do have to triangulate these models with these specific methods. But other than that, it pretty much works for any blend shape. Like we can even, if we hide this for a moment, we can even go on to this blended guy here, and we can change the blend shape that's being applied. So like, let's say we have a heavier set body, for example. So if we take this, where's the breathing? So we turn that back to 0, and what we'll do is we'll turn the fat blend shape up to 1. Okay, so like let's say we're a real chunky boy, and we want to have that transferred onto our t-shirt here. That extreme of a transformation also works very well. So you can get pretty wild with this. So if we go on the t-shirt and we remove this driver, so let's delete this driver, delete this driver. We go on the current and we get the fat blend shape, fat 2. So we'll copy. This is not required to export the thing, by the way. I'm just doing this for showcase purposes. You can paste this here. And then we can go back to the fat blend shape. And we can see that it actually does transform pretty well. There's obviously going to be a few places where it might not work absolutely the best. In this case, the geometry on the chest here is a little like screwed up from the like fur, because the fur on this model is kind of a little janky sometimes. But overall, it should generally work okay. It'll do most of the grunt work for you at the very least. Yeah. Even it like preserves the spacing between like the body and the shirt, which is quite nice. Anyways, I'm getting a little carried away. I'll include the nodes in the wherever I post this video, I guess. So yeah, I hope people find this useful, and I'll see you later.